Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Cosmic Path Tarot, and today's reading is a very interesting one. You are not delusional. This is the first thing these cards want you to hear. Whatever you have been telling yourself, that you imagined it, that you read too much into it, that the connection you felt was one sided or wishful or embarrassing to still be thinking about. These three cards just said no. What you felt was real. What you sensed was accurate, and the reasons things have stayed complicated and unspoken has nothing to do with you being wrong about any of it. They were scared. Not indifferent, not over it, scared. And there is a very specific reason why. These cards are about to tell you exactly what that reason is. Now, before I flip these cards, place your hand on your heart for a moment. If this reading is yours, comment I receive below. Not because I'm asking you to engage, because setting that intention before a reading actually changes how deeply it lands. Now, before I show you these cards, I want to speak to something. There is a very specific kind of confusion that comes from knowing that something is real and being made to doubt it anyway. Not by the other person directly, by the silence, by the lack of clarity, by the distance that has no clean explanation attached to it. You have been holding something, a connection, a feeling, a sense of something unfinished between you. And the absence of movement from their side has made you question whether you imagined the whole thing. You did not imagine it. The exhausting part of this specific situation is that you cannot prove it to anyone around you. You cannot point to something concrete and say, look, this is real, that this matters. This is not just me being hopeful. All you have is what you felt. And what you felt has been quietly convincing you that maybe you are wrong. Maybe you misread it, maybe they have moved on, and you are the only one still thinking about this. These three cards are about to tell you exactly why that narrative is false. And before I reveal them, I want to point out to something I noticed immediately about this spread. Notice that the first card is a 2 card. In numerology, 2 is a number of partnership, harmony, and energy that exists between two people. The invisible thread of connection that does not need words to be real. That this reading begins with a 2 is not random. It is a confirmation that before we even start, that what exists between you and this person is genuine. The 2 of Cups. And I want you to really look at this card before I say anything about it. Two figures facing each other directly, not side by side. Not one walking away from the other, but facing each other. Cups raised in a mutual offering, the caduceus rising between them. An ancient symbol of two equal forces meeting and creating something that neither could create alone. This is not a card of one person feeling something while the other is indifferent. This card requires two. It cannot exist as a one sided experience. The energy it describes is mutual by definition. Now, this is the card that confirms what you have been sensing, what you felt in this connection, the recognition, the pull, the sense that something between you was different from the other connections. That was not projection. That was not wishful thinking dressed up as intuition. The Two of Cups appearing as the first card in this reading is the universe saying directly and without ambiguity the feeling was real on both sides. And notice this is a 2 card. In numerology, 2 is a number of partnership and harmony. The energy of two people or two perspectives finding a point of genuine connection. That is exactly what this card is describing. Not a fantasy, not a one sided hope, a genuine two-way thread of energy that has existed between you, regardless of whether either of you has found the words for it yet. The question this card raises is not whether the connection is real, the question is why. if it is real on both sides, it has stayed so quiet and so unspoken. The second card answers that directly. The Hanged Man. And this is the card that explains everything. The Hanged Man is one of the most psychologically rich cards in the entire deck. The image shows a figure suspended upside down from a living tree, completely still, completely voluntary, a halo of light around his head. Now, he is not struggling, he is not in distress. He chose this pause. He is hanging between two states, between action and stillness, between knowing and not yet knowing what to do with what he knows. And he is waiting, not from weakness, from a kind of wisdom that understands the situation cannot be forced into resolution before they are ready. Now, this is exactly what is happening with the person on your mind. They are in the hangman space, suspended, caught between wanting to reach out and not knowing how, between feeling everything and not yet having the clarity or the courage to move from feeling it to doing something about it. Now, they are not over it, they are not indifferent, they are hanging in between, aware of what exists between you, aware that reaching out would open something complicated, and not yet ready to step into the complication, regardless of how much part of them wants to. The hangman also speaks to someone seeing a situation from an entirely different perspective than they have seen it before. Something has shifted in how they understand what happened between you or what is still unresolved between you. They are looking at it differently now. But looking differently is not the same as being ready to act differently. And that gap between new understanding and the new action is exactly where they are stuck right now. And here is where the numerology of this card adds something genuinely fascinating. The hangman carries the number 12, and 12 in numerology reduces to 3. 3 is the number of perspective, understanding, and things being seen from a new angle. That is a perfect match for a card that is entirely about suspending your usual way of seeing something in order to find a completely different vantage point. The number itself confirms the meaning. They are in 3 energy right now, processing, reconsidering, seeing this differently than they did before. But processing is internal, and what you haven't been experiencing is the silence of someone whose internal world is very active while their external actions remain completely still. The Hierophant. And after the Two of Cups and the Hangman, this third card arriving tells you something very important about where this is heading. The Hierophant is the card of wisdom, of understanding earned through experience, of something being processed and integrated until it becomes a kind of knowing that can actually be acted upon. He sits between two pillars, stable, grounded, and certain. Not suspended like the hangman, not offering like the two of cups, settled. Having arrived at something through the work of understanding it fully. This is the direction it is moving in. The Hierophant, as the final card in this reading, is not showing you a dramatic reunion or a sudden declaration. It is showing you something more significant than that, a shift towards genuine understanding and maturity in how this person is approaching what exists between you. The hangman was the processing. The hierophant is what comes after the processing completes. A clearer, more grounded, more honest relationship with what they actually feel and what they actually want to do about it. Now, the Hierophant carries the number 5. In numerology, number 5 is the number of change and growth, but specifically change that comes through understanding rather than through impulse or force. 5 does not rush. 5 arrives when the lesson has been genuinely integrated. And that is exactly what this card is describing for the person on your mind. The change that is coming in how they show up or reach out or finally say the things they have been holding is coming through wisdom, not through a sudden impulsive moment. Now, I want to bring all three numbers together because this progression is one of the most meaningful things about this entire reading. 2, 3, and 5. 2 is connection, the genuine thread of energy that exists between you, the Two of Cups confirmed. 3 is the understanding, the new perspective the hangman is processing, seeing the situation differently than they have seen it before. And fifth is growth, the change and movement that becomes possible once that understanding fully lands. These cards are not just describing a situation, they are mapping an arc. Connection leading to understanding, leading to growth. What was real between you is being processed into something clearer. And something clearer is what eventually moves. Now, let me bring all this together for you. The Two of Cups confirmed the connection is real and mutual. You were not imagining it, you were not projecting. What you felt was met on the other side, even if it was never put into words. The hangman showed you exactly why it has stayed quiet. They are suspended between feeling everything and not yet knowing how to act on what they feel. The complication is real for them. The fear of opening something complex is real. But the feelings underneath all of that are also real. And it is not going anywhere. Now, the Hierophant says that the processing is moving towards something. Not a dramatic, sudden action, a gradual, wisdom driven shift in how they understand what exists between you and what they want to do about it. The hangman does not stay suspended forever. Eventually, the understanding completes and the figure comes down. The Hierophant is showing you that the direction they come down towards 2 into 3 into 5, connection into understanding into growth. That is the arc of this situation. And you are not delusional for sensing it. You were never delusional. And you were just reading something real that the other person has not yet found the courage or the clarity to confirm out loud. They are getting there. The cards just showed you exactly how. Comment below and tell me which card resonated most, whether it was the Two of Cups, the Hangman, or the Hierophant. And if the numerology progression landed for you, tell me that too. I read every single one. If someone in your life has been questioning whether what they felt was real, share this with them. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer someone is permission to trust what they already knew. Follow Cosmic Path Tarot for readings every week. The right message always finds the right person at exactly the right moment. You are not delusional. You never were. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next one.